While we are a little better financially these days, there were many times where we had to count our change to get us the last few days until payday. I would have found this video very helpful back then. So even though I don't have to, if payday were just 2 days away and I only had $10 to feed my family, this is how I would do it. These recipes do mainly use the items that I purchased from the store, but I do also use seasonings and flavorings that I assume that you might still have on hand. If you're new here, I'm Samantha, creator of The Frugal Mom Life, where I share money-saving frugal tips that have helped my family of 5 live a more meaningful and happier life. Okay, this is what I got. This is going to feed us for 2 days. So we have 1 loaf of bread, 2 pounds, right there, 2 pounds of rice, a large russet potato, I don't know, medium size, maybe smallish, sweet potato. I'll grab that, see? So you can see about the size of it, and that russet potato is quite big. They were, I want to say about a pound each, but that don't seem right. Maybe a little under a pound each. And then I have 4 bananas here. I can't remember if that was about a pound of bananas. It may have been 2 pounds. I don't quite remember. I'll have to look it up. A pound of black beans and 6 large eggs. I did spend just under $10. If you had like an extra few cents, maybe, no, I spent just over $9. So if you had a few extra cents, then you could go ahead and get a whole dozen of eggs. It'd only be like maybe $1 more, I think. And I realized I forgot the vegetables. I did get a bag of frozen vegetables too. So all of that for just over $9. For breakfast, I'm gonna use the rice and the banana. I'm gonna use 2 bananas. So I think I'm gonna start off by cooking all the rice here. I just want to make sure I can fit it in my pan. 2 pounds. Let me see. See what it says. I think a pound is like 2 cups, so there's probably like 4 cups of rice, so I'll need 8 cups of water. I just have this pan, guys. I don't know if I can fit all of that in there. I'm gonna start off by putting a pound in there, and then we'll see if I can fit another pound in. I decided that I'm just gonna do 2 cups. That is 8 servings. So I'm gonna measure my 2 cups out. And I decided for the 2 cups of rice, I need 4 cups of water. And that is 8 servings. And I decided to cook in this pan and see how that goes. Turn the burner on there. I do usually cook rice in my Instapot, but I decided to cook it in the pan this time because it sticks to the Instapot. Like the pot itself for the Instapot, it sticks to it. And I know some people say you need to rinse your rice. I actually looked it up. I never rinsed my rice, but when I started hearing people say like you need to rinse your rice, I looked it up, and it turns out that if you rinse your rice, one thing you need to know is that they enrich. Let me show you. It says it's enriched rice, okay? So they enrich it with like vitamins and stuff. This has a little bit of iron and some niacin, thiamine, folate. So I think it's the folate that they enrich it with, something like that, because it's got 50% folate. they enrich the rice. So when you rinse it, you're taking all of that enrichment out. Well, not all of it, but most of it. So that's one reason why I prefer not to rinse my rice. And also today, in today's world, today's economy, whatever, our rice isn't as bad as it used to be. Like, it's not contaminated like it was like 50 years ago. So our rice actually doesn't have a lot of the stuff that you would have had to rinse off back in the day. Where it was necessary to rinse your rice back then, it's not entirely necessary today. I'm gonna see how long this has to cook, because not usually cooking it in this pan, I really don't know. And it says bring it to a boil, so I do have it on high, and then turn it down low and simmer with a lid for 20 minutes. So I'm gonna have to find my lid. It's down in the cupboard somewhere. Okay, I found my lid. I had to give it a quick rinse. Nope, that's not the lid to it actually. Let me find the actual lid. Found it. I didn't think that other lid looked quite like the one that goes to this pot. So I'm just gonna bring this to a boil, and then I can turn it down and simmer it for 20 minutes. So rice doesn't really take that long to cook, just 20 minutes. And this is gonna be our breakfast for the next 2 days. I'm gonna take half of it and we're gonna eat half of it with the banana this morning, and then tomorrow morning we'll eat half of it too. So it'll give you breakfast for 2 days. And each person, like if you have a family of 4, each person can have 1 serving, which is a quarter cup dry, and it makes 6 cups cooked. So about a cup and a half. Does that sound right? Yeah, a cup and a half of cooked rice with half a banana. And I'll show you what that looks like when it's all done and I can put it together. Okay, I got distracted and then get down here after 20 minutes. It's been like 25, maybe closer to 30. See how this is. I guess it's not too bad. Definitely not sticking as bad as it would in the Instapot. And when I say that it sticks in the Instapot, it's just the white rice. The brown rice actually cooks quite well in there. I do prefer cooking brown rice in there, but this has actually turned out pretty good. It's just sticking to the bottom, but that could be because I cooked it a little longer than it needed to be. Yeah, so this will be meals for 2 days. Breakfast for 2 days, I mean, rather. So if you can see that, use the left half for today and the right half for another day, like tomorrow. I'll dish it out here and show you about how much a serving would be. Like I said, it's like a cup and a half, so probably something like that, maybe a little less than that. But it's still, yeah, like that. It's still a quite decent amount. I don't know, maybe I shortchanged me on the one day. So that's still a decent amount. I'll show you how I would fix it for breakfast. So you're gonna take your banana, cut it in half. Okay, so I have half a banana. Slice it right up in there. Just be careful not to cut yourself. Don't do it like that. Like, do it on a cutting board. Okay, I do have milk. I didn't buy milk when I went shopping for this recipe, but I do keep this non-fat, like instant milk in the pantry. When I do my restock, I do a restock like twice a year. I make sure I'm stocked up on this because we run out of milk quite often. And instead of like running and grabbing it when I'm baking, I don't like leaving the house when I'm in the middle of cooking or baking. So I'll just grab that out of the pantry and use that. That's when you have extra money, stock up on that milk. But for this purpose, I'm just gonna use my regular milk. This is kind of like a hot cereal, what you're doing here. So this meal plan does rely a lot on like stuff in your pantry, like the powdered milk, the cinnamon, and then brown sugar as well. But you're kind of making a cereal, like a hot cereal here, and it is cheaper, especially in an emergency. Like, this is your breakfast, guys. In an emergency, have rice on hand and you will always have a breakfast. It might not be the healthiest. I mean, we threw half a banana in there so that we had another half for like your other family member or whatever, but this is a good serving. It has banana is like 100 calories, so you have like 50 calories there from the banana. I don't know what the rice has. 160 calories for the rice. I see the bag over there. So that's at least 200 calories. The rice is gonna soak up that milk. Even if you don't have milk, you're getting 200 calories. Throw in whatever sugar you have. If you have milk, then that's extra calories too. But I mean, you guys, this is an excellent emergency breakfast, especially for your family. Tell me your kids aren't gonna love this. For the next recipe, we need to cook the beans. I'm not the best at prepping ahead, so I don't soak my beans. I just rely on the Instant Pot. And you could go ahead and sort through these. I kind of glanced when I poured them into the measuring cup. I have like once or twice in my entire lifetime of eating beans, which is like 10 years, I don't know. I have bitten into a rock. It's not the most pleasant experience. It is the worst, and you probably could chip a tooth. I'm not gonna lie. But for the most part, you're not likely to find a rock. I mean, I usually do look through, especially if I'm making it for my family, because I don't want them biting into a rock. But me personally, I'll be fine if I cook beans and I bite into a rock. Okay, so to a pound of beans, I'm gonna add, I think, 8 cups of water. Yes, I'm adding 8 cups of water. If I were only doing half the bag, it'd be 4 cups. Okay, we cook it on manual for, I'm gonna do 22 minutes. It's either between 20 and 25 minutes. Okay, that made quite a bit of beans, guys. I'm gonna use half in a recipe and half in another recipe. So I'm gonna like split all these beans in half. But I'm gonna take half of these beans and put them in here. And the other half I'll use now. So these are gonna be for a different recipe. I think that's about half. Take the potato and sweet potato. I'm gonna wash these. I'm kind of lazy when it comes to potatoes and slicing and cooking and stuff like that. I actually hate, and I don't know why. It just takes so long. I hate peeling potatoes. So this is kind of what I do. I don't fully peel them. I just chop what I can off. I don't have a vegetable peeler. It's one of those things that I'm like, I can do without it. So maybe I'd like it better if I had one of those. Okay, I dumped all that in the trash. Now I'm just gonna dice these up a little finer. So we don't have to really dice them too fine, just as long as they're diced. And we want them like the same size, just about the same size, because then they'll cook evenly. Oops. Sweet potatoes seem to be so much more difficult to cut. And is there a difference between like sweet potatoes and yams? Because I'm not sure if there is. If you know the difference, let me know in the comments. I'm not a big fan of cast iron. I try to teach myself how to use it. It's kind of like a slow progress. But I'm gonna give it a try today. This pan isn't like new or anything, and it probably could use to be re-seasoned. I used it a while ago, like a couple years ago I used it a lot to make cinnamon rolls, like sourdough cinnamon rolls. So that's kind of like what I got it for. That's what it's mainly been used for. So it's like not the best for cooking, I don't think. Maybe it is, I don't know. We're gonna give it a try today, so bear with me. We're gonna let this take a minute to heat up, because the one thing I know is that cast iron is a lot easier to cook on when it's warm. I have some peppers. That might be a little warm. Peppers from my freezer. I usually chop them up, buy them in bulk, chop them, and then freeze them. So totally not necessary. I thought I had onions in the freezer. I don't, so I'm not gonna use that in here. If you have them in your freezer, if you have availability to them, go ahead and add them. If not, totally not necessary. I guess I can add the potatoes now as well. I didn't think that was going to be so warm. And I hope this works out the way I want it to. And I actually got these kind of like as a set. This one. I got these as a set, so I could do this. I'm gonna take those beans, and that's quite a bit of beans, but that's actually good, I guess, because what we're making is like a hash. And I'm also gonna do some salt. And then if you have other like pantry things, sometimes I'll throw some brown sugar in here. You could also do it with like maple syrup, like something sweet, or maybe even some soy sauce or hot sauce. Okay, I'm gonna go in here and grab about a serving. Okay, I'm also gonna use half of the bread to make 2 pieces of toast for everybody, and that should still give me a half a loaf for a meal for tomorrow. So this is today's lunch, and then tomorrow I'll use the bread and some of the other beans for lunch. And then you can doctor this up however you want. I have some syrup, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of that, a drizzle on top. Use whatever you have on hand. You can use syrup, just about anything. And I'm gonna try this. Oh wow, that toast, the combination of the toast in there too and the syrup just adds, I feel like you need kind of like a sweetness, whether it's syrup or brown sugar, or mix some brown sugar with butter and then drizzle it on. Oh, so good. Okay, just washed my pan. I'm gonna cook the other half of the bag of rice, and it looks like it's more than 2 cups. What do we have here? You see that? I don't know if you can see. It's like 2.5, maybe 2.25. It's hard to tell in this measuring cup. So I'm gonna put that in, and I'll probably add, what did it say? To 2 cups of rice, I want 4 cups of water. So I'll probably add like 4.5 cups. Okay, this has been sitting here a few minutes, but it is definitely done. And this time it didn't stick to the bottom as much because I didn't overcook it like I did the other batch. So look how fluffy and white that is, I guess. It looks like rice. It looks like some nice fluffy rice. And this I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to use just like 1/4 of it for a recipe, and the other 3/4 of it I'm going to use for another recipe. So that's what I'm doing with that. We're back to this pan since the cast iron apparently didn't work out, or I don't know how to use it, whatever. I'm gonna have to do some research, some more research on that. But back at this pan, making dinner. So today for dinner, to keep it kind of cheaper, I'm doing a stir fry with the stuff that I had gotten from the store. This is what's left of that rice that I had made. I just took some of it, like a little less than 1/4 maybe, out for another meal that I'm gonna make tomorrow for lunch. Again, if you have like peppers and onions in your freezer, feel free to throw them in. If you have access to peppers and onions, or you happen to have them that week, or you have a little extra in your budget to purchase them, then go ahead and throw them in here as well. The veggies. I'm going to put the whole bag in there. And then I'm going to use 4 of the eggs. The other 2 I'm going to use for lunch tomorrow. Stir fries are so wonderful because you can throw just about anything in them. Like if you have chicken or beef in your freezer, take that out and you can throw it in here too. Today I'm just sticking with whatever. I'm trying to stick with this stuff that I bought, besides like condiments and seasonings that I kind of assume that you might still have in your pantry. I don't have the actual lid that came with this pan, so I'm using one very similar. It's just a little bit smaller. It went to like this same kind of pan, but like a smaller one. But it'll use like the same concept. A little bit of heat might escape, but not as much as if I didn't put a lid on it. So I'm just gonna let this be for a little while. I think we're frying that rice for sure. And we'll crack those eggs in. I'm gonna add some salt and pepper now too. I'm not a big fan of salt, because I feel like our food has enough of it, but in cases like this when we're making from scratch, I feel like it needs just a little more flavor. Salt does add quite a bit of flavor, and I love pepper. And then once you get those eggs all cooked up, I'm getting there. But once you do get them cooked up, you can add whatever seasonings to this that you would like, or whatever your family likes. Put it on a dish, and then let them add whatever. My personal favorites are like hot sauce and soy sauce. I tried to keep most of these meals like rather healthy. Of course, we had a little bit of fruit with our breakfast, the rice and the banana. And then here we have the vegetables with the mixed vegetables that were frozen. And I also added those eggs for protein. For lunch, we had some vegetables in the potatoes. And we also had protein in the beans. Okay, I think I'm gonna put a lid on this and let it cook just a little bit longer to make sure those eggs are done. Okay, add some soy. We'll add some hot sauce, just a little bit. And I do just want a dash of cumin too. Like I said, just add whatever seasonings or spices that you like and you have on hand. Yeah, like if that's a serving, that's a lot. I'm gonna dish this onto a plate and we'll see how much we got here. Each of them is like a decent size. So there's the 4 servings for dinner. And then I also got this leftover that I'm gonna put in the dish. This is like 2 servings here. Like 1.5, about 2 servings. I'm gonna put it in this dish and we'll eat it for leftovers on the last day for dinner. Okay, this is what I ended up with in the dish. I don't know if you can tell, but it's quite a bit. This is quite a big dish. And yeah, there is at least a serving and a half in there. I'm gonna try to make it into 2 servings. I'm going to use the other 2 of the eggs, the rest of the bread. This is what I have left after using 2 slices for 4 people, so like 8 slices yesterday. This is what's left. So this is enough for each of us to have 4 slices. So we could have like 2 now and then 2 for dinner if we choose to. I'm gonna use the rest of the beans. I have the rest of the rice here too. The beans is half of a pound that I had cooked, and the rice is like 1/4 of a pound that I had cooked as well, and then I reserved it before I made the stir fry. I'm also gonna use the Italian style breadcrumbs. These are what I have in my pantry. If you don't have these, you can use just about any kind of like bready material. Use bread. I mean, like I said, we have quite a bit of that bread left over. You can just cut this up real small and use that, or you could use like crackers or even certain cereals. So we're making like bean burgers. That's why the main thing is the beans, and then we're gonna use the rice and then the eggs to hold it together. And I'll probably end up just using a little bit of this. So into my bowl, I'm gonna put those beans, and they don't wanna come out. Let me grab a, okay, I got my spoon. I'm gonna put those beans into my bowl. And you could even like pulsate them in a food processor. Yeah, and goes that rice, and then we can add the eggs. Of course, a little bit of salt, some chili powder. I'm like a chili powder and cumin kind of girl because they both go so well with black beans. I'll add a little bit of cumin. I also have a little bit of brown sugar. I don't know, maybe like 1/4 cup in here. I think I'm just gonna put all of that in there. Okay, now I gotta mix this all up. Like I said, if you had a food processor, go ahead and pulsate all of this in the food processor. It'll mix it right up for you. I have a small food processor and all of this won't fit in there. And I figure, what's the sense of, I'd have to do it like 4 times, 2 or 3 times just for the beans. And then like once or twice to get that rice all pulsated. So I'm just gonna try to like mash it against the bowl here. Okay, this is a little wetter than I like, so I think I'm gonna add some more breadcrumbs. Again, if you don't have breadcrumbs, just add whatever you have to make it like less wet. You could even add flour. I'm trying the cast iron once again. I'm bound and determined to make these things work. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the filling stuff and make like a patty and put it, I want the oil everywhere. Put it in the pan. And we're just gonna fry each side. So I'm gonna do that with a couple more. Make them into like patties, stick them in there, and we'll get them frying. Okay, so the main thing is to get these eggs cooked. That's in them. And it looks like the bottoms are like, I want the bottoms to be kind of crisp. And it looks like we're kind of getting there. I'm gonna say like 3 to 5 minutes on each side, somewhere around there. And my heat's on medium, so. Okay, I do have some mayonnaise. I'm gonna put a little bit on here. Just put some on this piece of toast here. I did toast the bread too, by the way. And I also found some cheese that looks and smells good still. And it's still within date, so I'm gonna throw a piece of that on there. And we'll give this a try. Oh, and by the way, I did get 16 burgers. No, 14. I got 14 burgers out of that, so it made quite a bit of burgers. We could have 2 today and some for dinner too. So we do have leftovers for dinner. The only thing is we only have so much bread to have it on. Oh my, that is delicious. Yeah, here's all the burgers I made. There's 4 stacks and there's 3 in each stack. This stack has 4. So 4, 3, 3, and 3. So we have 3, 6, 9, 13 all together here, and this makes 14. I'm just gonna show you quick how we're gonna eat that other meal. This is the stir fry that I have left over. I'm gonna grab a spoon and take about 1/4 of that. Something like that. Now we're not eating this now. I just want to show you like how we're gonna eat this, or rather how you could eat it for dinner. This one is actually gonna go for my husband's lunch for work, or I'll eat it for lunch. I mean, it really doesn't matter. So I'm thinking like stir fry a burger because we'll have plenty left. And then you can top that with anything. If you have cheese, put some cheese on there, throw some mayonnaise, some ketchup. I think how I would eat it is some hot sauce. And then you can like serve it up like this. Like I said, there's plenty of leftovers. Even if you have 2 burgers for lunch, each of you, you'd still have 5 burgers. And then the rest of the stir fry. So yeah, I think we did pretty good on spending the $10, on making 2 days worth of meals on just $10. And I did want to let you know before I forget that I do have a new item available. I'm not quite sure what to call it yet. It's like a bean chart. It tells you how to cook your beans in like a pressure cooker. So if you're interested in that, like bean chart guide on how to pressure cook your beans, then be sure to grab your copy. I'll leave a link for it down below. If you've enjoyed this video, please click that like button down below. And for more videos like this, hit that subscribe button.